We're looking to build a business that is simple. And there's nothing simple about a warehouse and employees and two different platforms and all of that. That's not to say that what that reseller is doing is wrong.
If you're just starting out, or if you're just thinking about starting out, you really need to think about your priorities first. Most people don't. Most people jump in and they want to have priorities later. Think about what your priorities are. So I just recently I watched somebody and they had grown their eBay store to be a big store,
Yeah.
and they were capable of doing this by themselves. So
One person.
one person
I'm sure that I don't
solely
think the
by
spouse
themselves.
was
The
involved.
spouse was really not involved. They had income. All that to say is that it was one person band, and then decided, hey, let's up our game. And in the midst of upping the game, started switching platforms
From eBay to
from eBay
another.
to whatnot. Once this person made the switch, which is kind of a different animal, then it was too much for one person. Then it moved from just one person to both spouses were involved. And then it was an initial employee. Then it was another employee. So now there's like two employees involved. Who knows? I think there's virtual assistants,
Wholesale
and
buyers.
all
and-
kinds of other
yeah.
things. And so now all of a sudden, now we got to restart the eBay store again because we need eBay to pay for all the employees. So they're in a different situation. They're obviously younger than we are. So, kudos to them. They can do this for a while. But what if you're in your 40s and you're starting to look at your 50s and we're now looking at the 60s, is that we can't do that anymore.
I think we have to. We're looking to build a business that is simple, and there's nothing simple about a warehouse and employees and two different platforms and all of that. That's not to say that what that reseller is doing is wrong. We just need to know, and I think we all individually need to know what our objective is. Our objective for us is simple business, simple life, not the complication and not the stress, because that's what we were looking to get away from.
Yeah. I had enough of that.
Right. So kudos to anybody who wants to take on all of that. But the problem for us too, and the reason why we really started to dive into YouTube is because we were listening to gurus that we didn't necessarily want to emulate. And they say the best way to learn is to find someone who's doing it the way you want to do it, and the success that they're having is what you're looking for. And but those gurus were like, they're light years down the road from where we are, and they're also heading in a direction that we don't want to go in. So we're looking for simple eBay reselling community,
Yeah. And
and it's not out there that we know of.
if you're aware of one,
Yeah, if you're aware of one, tell us, because
let us know.
we'll gladly join in. But what we're looking for is people who are looking to build a reasonable business that can be managed by one person or one couple. And our goal in doing this as a couple was that we would build a business that either one of us could continue on alone if that were the need.
We really encourage people to think about their priorities first. And in doing so, I mean, this applies to whatever business you're thinking about getting into. Like, what is it really going to entail? What we want to warn people of, you watch too many of the big gurus. And the funny thing is, if you watch a bunch of them, you'll see some of them have reached a point where they're like, okay, I made my money, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
And they've gotten
Yeah, I've
out
seen
and
that.
shut down, the big warehouses and all that kind of stuff.
And
Because,
now they're just coaches,
yeah,
or
yeah. Or
they're investing in
they're
other
telling
things.
you can do this too,
Yeah.
kind of deal. So
I don't want to do that. I don't want a warehouse. I don't want employees. I don't want multiple platforms. I don't want to have to ship out hundreds of items a day to support a lifestyle that is, not what we're looking for. So,
Well, I think kind of going back to what you almost brought up is a video we just recently watched of someone who is a was
she's
doing
a reseller
by
and
herself.
a YouTuber.
True.
And we honestly thought it was a clickbait video, but we watched it together, and wow,
It was not.
it was not. And she just recently lost her husband suddenly. When you lose a spouse and it is completely unexpected, it just stops your world. And that's clearly where she is right now. And she's asking herself all the questions that we would be if we were in her shoes. Like, what do I do? Do I stay where I am? Do I need to go get another job? Do I need to continue doing what I'm doing? Do I need this house? How can I afford this house? Why should I live in this big a house? Just lots of things to consider. It's easy for us to think that when things slow down and when I retire and when we get through these days, then we'll finally have time together. And we're not guaranteed for things to slow down or to get better or whatever. And it's just really up to us to do what we can to slow it down, to work on the marriage that we want, and to work on the lifestyle that we want. And not everything is about bigger and better and, loftier, but simpler, for us. So it was a wake up call in a lot of ways to see someone, and I think she may even be a couple of years younger than us. So
Yeah, I mean the big
Yeah.
deal is that changes were being made with his work scenario, and he was just starting to have the conversation about soon
Hey.
I'll be able to
Yeah.
spend more time with you and do this with you and that kind of stuff. And those days will they'll never be. We're not
No.
promised tomorrow. Today may be your last or my last, and in that scenario, you need to enjoy the time you have while you have it. It's easy, like